you name a top 10 project, chances are they're based in the Cayman Islands because they trust Cayman, they trust the service providers, they trust the law. And I would venture to say we are one of the leaders, if not the leader, in terms of offshore financial service providers in the digital asset space. My name is Haymond Rankin. I'm from the Cayman Islands. I work at a nonprofit organization called Cayman Finance, and effectively we represent the entire financial services industry here in Cayman, the interests of the government as well. So, from insurance to reinsurance, funds, private wealth, fintech, virtual assets, we cover it all. And we act as the bridge between the government and the private sector and internationally into the islands locally. So it's a lot of interests to juggle, to say the least. But at any given point in time, we can be helping to pioneer random initiatives within the space, whether it's things related to tokenization of funds or work in relation to digital asset treasuries. Or we could be traveling all around the world telling the wonderful people of Canada, of Miami, of Barcelona, wherever the case may be, where we're at, what Cayman has to offer. So we're industry body, and we're here ready to serve the islands and the people of it.
I think if people think of the Cayman Islands, probably a few thoughts will cross their mind. The Caribbean, beautiful beaches, the climate. But they might also think about, companies domiciling themselves from all over the world. And since we're talking about digital assets, I think that it would be fair to say that it's become a bit of a magnet for digital innovation and fintech and crypto. Why is that? And what is that? How is it different than, for example, a traditional place like New York or London?
Well, Cayman is a heavily regulated jurisdiction. Despite what you may see on Hollywood, um, it's really not. It's not what you see in Hollywood. To be fair, we're super regulated. There's a lot of trust in the environment. We have really good service providers that understand, the cutting edge work that's being done in the virtual asset space. And as a result, for the past, since I would say 2016, 17, during the ICO boom, from then until now, we've done just what you said. We've been a magnet, and I would venture to say we are one of the leaders, if not the leader, in terms of offshore financial service providers in the digital asset space.
Amazing. Wow. How did it all start actually? How did Cayman become like sort of a financial and digital asset hub?
I think it's just because people are really familiar with Cayman in the other traditional markets, such as the funds industry. So we're one of the largest, domicile jurisdictions for funds to come here, set up, and people were just, there's over 30,000 funds at the moment. To put it
Oh,
into context, yeah, I think the only jurisdiction that's ahead of us is Delaware, to be fair. So we really are punching above our weight. We've been punching above our weight. For a small island of under 80,000 people, I think we're doing pretty good in the space. And just, word of mouth, people are familiar with Cayman products. And as a result, when the ICO boom really started back in 2016 and 17, Cayman was 100% one of the go-to jurisdictions to launch ICOs in. And ever since then, it's just really turned into what it is today, which is the one of the largest hubs for foundation companies and DAOs to be domiciled. There's a lot more structure in place at the moment.
mm,
During the ICO boom, there wasn't a Virtual Service Providers Act. Now there is, that really regulates the industry and tells you exactly what you have to do to operate legitimately in the space. And, as a result, we've seen a lot of companies who enjoy that clarity in law, who want, a trusted environment, continue to move to the Cayman Islands. So we're, in terms of trends, what we're really seeing is a lot of foundation companies being set up in the Cayman Islands. And these are for major crypto projects. Like, you name a top 10 project, chances are they're based in the Cayman Islands, and the proof is in the pudding. Why is that? Because they trust Cayman, they trust the service providers, they trust the law. Cayman is run by a system. I don't know if you're from, well, you would be familiar with it being from Canada, the common law
Yeah.
system. So, there's a lot of trust in terms of what the courts are able to do and a lot of legal certainty in terms of what to expect. So, again, I think because of this trusted environment, we're seeing a lot more entities embrace the regulation. They're embracing being regulated by our local authority, which is the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority, or CIMA for short. And yeah, so these foundations are coming out left, right, and center. But in terms of new trends, we're seeing a lot of DATs, digital asset treasury companies,
Of
a
course.
lot of inquiries in relation to that. I'm pretty sure you're getting that
Mhm.
in your neck of the woods as well. But I think those are two of the main trending topics right now, apart from tokenizing of funds.
Final question, Futurist. You mentioned you've been there once before, and now you're going to be at the first Florida edition. What does Futurist mean for you, for your organization? Why are you coming, basically, and why are you coming back?
For me, Futurist is a really good conference to hit within the region. It's a very intimate styled conference that could strike the balance between the intimacy, yet some of the more exciting things that happen at conferences. I mean, the last Futurist that we attended in Canada, we had a bunch of samurais dancing to the steel pan music that we were playing in our, in the VIP area. And at the same time, we were having massive conversations with large institutional players. It was just a really good vibe. If I had to put, condense it into a couple of words, Futures is a good vibe where you can get business done and at the same time have fun. So we're going to be going there. And who doesn't want to go to Miami in that awesome weather as well, right? So we're going to have a nice networking event, bringing the Cayman experience to Futurists. So we're going to have some live music. We're going to have a rum bar in the VIP area. We have a invite that's going around to invite key people to sign up for it. So if you're watching this and you want to show up, look on Luma. The the event is there for you to sign up for.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heyman. It was really nice to meet you through this interview. I look forward to meeting you, hopefully joining you for one of those little rums. And yeah, if anybody is still watching at this stage, make sure to give them a follow and check them out. A very interesting organization, and hopefully you've learned something from this interview. I know I have. I knew very little about Cayman other than the cliches, and now I stand corrected and educated. So hopefully you do too. Thanks again for following and for watching. Cheerio.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.